point I thought that I would like to make a project very big that with our team we could implement and do a lot of things and regenerate ourselves a lot of land. And lately we've been thinking that maybe it's better to focus on not making it so big and focus on more what we have and make as much as possible a very good example of it, and then try to have an impact not by doing it ourselves but by creating a good example, sharing the knowledge, and hopefully inspiring some people, and sharing what we do. And I think that having an example that is as good as possible with the 4 returns, so that is it is profitable in a social, environmental, economic, and inspirational way. I think that's what I'm thinking now. Yeah. My name is Alfonso. I'm living in this farm for 13 years already. This farm has belonged to my family for a few generations, and my family then moved to Madrid, and I was born and raised there. And when I was 23, I had to get a job, and I thought I'm gonna try to come to the farm and see if I could do a project for myself. And I wanted to do vegetables and organic and distribute to the areas around here and to the cities and to the coast in the summer. And I really liked the idea of living in the countryside. I used to come on weekends, holidays, and things like that. So I had already some connection here, and I knew I liked it a lot, because the idea was to see how could we change the farm to have crops that would be, or crops or techniques or everything that could be a bit better adapted to the conditions and the climate change we were having and strongly feeling here, and the market as well that was changing, and therefore the profitability of the farm as well. So since we were busy with this for a few generations and living off it as well, I thought, if we don't change quite fast, maybe this is the last generation that we can do this. So I was very interested in trying out things, and that's what I did for a few years. Most of the things I tried didn't work so well the first years, and then they started working a bit better. And also a few years after being here, then I met Yannick, and then she started the academy. Also John Liu and Commonland came, and John started the ecosystem restoration camp, and volunteers started coming, and more of an ecosystem of projects started to happen. And now it's a bit more of an interesting place than it was 13 years ago. I see an opportunity. I don't know how real it is, and I think I might be a bit biased because I love cattle, and I love the cows, and I love the horses, and it's my favorite thing in the farm already for the last years. And I see a lot of opportunities there, but maybe it's just that I like it a lot and I want to see opportunities, and maybe there are also a lot of opportunities in other areas of the farm or other crops, but maybe they're not as fun as the cows. I like all the other crops as well, but I think cows and horses for me now are a bit at another level at the moment. So I would like to increase the herd. So I started trying to breed the Murciano Levantina. The first 3 calves that I bought were from that breed. Now we have about 25 cows from that breed and 1 bull, but it's a breed almost extinct. We had a meeting yesterday of all the breeders that we are, not many. In total, there's about 50 to 60 cows of this breed, and we're working to recuperate it. There used to be, just in this area, about 120,000 sheep, and now there's only 10,000 sheep left. So there's a lot of land available. If it doesn't rain, then it doesn't matter how much land there is available because there's no food anyway. But now we also rented out the rights for grazing for a few farms around, and I think even in a dry year we could be able to have them grazing all year round. And I'm trying to have an agreement with the government that we can go to graze some of the so these gullies and these rivers that they have a lot of reeds and a lot of vegetation, that we've seen that type of vegetation can be a problem when there is a big rain event like what we had in Valencia this autumn, and then all of that vegetation can get a lot of the dams or a lot of the bridges stuck, and then you can have quite catastrophic effects with the floods. And we've seen how in the autonomous community of Valencia, they are now quite busy with cleaning that. And instead of getting machinery, they realize that by getting cattle or goats is quite useful. And I heard that they're even compensating some of the ranchers to bring that there. So not only you don't have to pay for grazing, but they even pay you. In my case, they don't have to pay me, but if they allow me to go to graze, especially in the winter and autumn months with our cows, to some areas that there's a few dams near Lorca, for example. They are not too far away, and they are at about 200 meters over sea level of altitude, which is basically 8 degrees less, 8 degrees warmer in winter than here, and it would be wonderful. Then they will have food and water in the winter and warmth. And that is a bit our bottleneck now, is the winter. So we have a lot of food for the summer, for the spring, a bit for the autumn, and not for the winter. So I see those opportunities. Well, I love the culture and the traditions, not just here, but everywhere. I also like a lot like history and anthropology, and I try to be as respectful as possible with it, and also to even repeat some things that maybe are a bit lost, so like the transhumancia, or like the moving the cows and the saddles and the clothing. Yeah, I like a lot all the traditional things in that sense. And I'm thinking a lot about that lately, because it's quite a complex thing, because by many times trying to recuperate it or giving visibility, it can backfire. If like many places that they're very interesting, and then very authentic and very traditional, and then they become very touristy, and then it's gone. And then it became touristy and all of that, and people went there because they liked it and to support it and that, but then that actually is what kills it. We are trying to fill in a gap with life and with projects and people and moving a bit things. But yeah, not only from people from here, because they're not really here anymore. And then it's a mix of us from all over the world with people from here, and then we cannot pretend that we're repeating what it used to be before, and then it will be something new that comes out of the mix of all of that, which at the same time will change those traditions and culture. But I don't have the answer of how to do it, but I really like to support and repeat as many constructive traditions as possible, maybe not the ones that are not so respectful with social or environmental values, but the rest, yes.